76, 76.
Hello and welcome along to episode 21 of the Tennis Asia podcast. And no sooner were we done with tennis in 2024, tennis in 2025 has already started, even though we are still in 2024. Nevertheless, the 2025 tennis season is upon us already, and happily for us, some of it is in our part of the world. And tonight, that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on the about to start Bank of China Hong Kong Open, an ATP 250 event at the beautiful Victoria Park Tennis Centre in Hong Kong. And joining me live from what is no doubt the penthouse suite at the Hong Kong Four Seasons is Mr. Tennis Asia himself, Eddie McGee. Eddie, how is Hong Kong?
It's very good. I mean, I did come here last year just as a spectator for a couple of days, but yeah, it's a city I'm obviously familiar with, and you are too. And yeah, it's a really nice spot here, just near Victoria Park. It was a lovely day today, about 18 Celsius, sunny, just very pleasant. Yeah, you've got that, the first day for us as in the media open to the Hong Kong Open, but then also outside you've got the food festival going on in the Victoria Park. So a lot going on there, and yeah, I didn't try any of the food there, but I got myself a little what do you call it, like the lemon tea, iced tea. So very typical Hong Kong thing. So that was something. Yeah.
Well, Hong
yeah,
Kong in tennis terms, Hong Kong has been known more in tennis terms in recent years for its WTA event. I think there was an ATP event for years and years and years. It finally finished in about 2002. It did, as you say, come back last year. Andrei Rublev was the champion last year. He is the number one seed again this time around. Today was the draw. I think you lost a little bit of your Hong Kong cred by failing to recognise Alex Lam and Stephanie Au at the media presentation day. What was sort of going on today? I saw Mark Woodford was there and all sorts of various things.
Yeah, I mean, they gave it this grand name, the Hong Kong Celebrity Tennis Masters, and it really was just, a few of the mostly athletes, right, local athletes,
right,
from Hong Kong, and an actor there as well, Alex Lam, as you said, and then also some of the players from the event, including Jerry Shang, Coleman Wong, Karen Khachanov, Nuno Borges. And is there someone else I'm forgetting? It probably is now. You put me on the spot here. But then, so also, Pat Cash and Mark Woodford, who are the ambassadors for this event. So yeah, it's just a little sort of, I don't know how you say, like sort of a few silly games here and there. And then they did sort of like, the classic sort of doubles thing where you get couple of the players with Pash Cash and Woodford just doing like a typical sort of silly charity doubles thing. But yeah, it was fine. It was a nice way to open the event, and then a few speeches from the tournament director or the Michael Cheng, I think, from the Hong Kong Tennis Association. So yeah, that was fine. And then we had a couple of pressers as well. With after that, we had pre-tournament press conference with Jerry Shang, otherwise known as Shang Jun Chang, which is his actual name, and then also Coleman Wong. So yeah, obviously one from mainland China, one from Hong Kong, and then we've got an interesting tournament from the Tennis Asia's perspective, but it is also an interesting tournament on its own, because as you said, we've got Andrei Rublev here as number one seed, and like he returns, he's the defending champion. But a lot of players that are coming through, not just from Tennis Asia. So you've got like Lerna Tien, who is from the US, who is the next gen ATP Finals runner-up this year. He's only, I think, so 18. So he's won a lot of matches in the Challenger Tour. Arthur Fils as well, who's just 20, but he's won 2 ATP 500 titles this year, including I mean, we watched that match where he beat Zverev in the final, and then he beat Hugo Umber, his fellow countryman, in the final in Tokyo, which was a spectacular match. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent, and it wouldn't be that surprising if Rublev does not defend his title again.
It's a wide open event, isn't it? Like there's many potential winners. The draw was obviously made today. Let's go through the draw. Obviously, the top four, like in many of these tournaments, the top four seeds all have a bye to the round of 16. Those top four being Rublev, the number 1 seed, Lorenzo Musetti, the number 2 seed, Karen Khachanov, the number 3 seed, and Arthur Fils, as you just mentioned, the number 4 seed. Let's go through from the top of the draw, though. So Rublev straight through to the round of 16, and he will face in the round of 16 the winner of the Thai Safulin and Morostan. Have we got it? There we go.
Okay, so can you see that there?
It's absolutely can.
Clear. I don't know if we get up any bigger. Yeah, we can. That's much better, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got Andrei Rublev. Obviously, he gets a bye, potentially facing his countryman Roman Safulin in this second round, who have to play against Fabian Marozsan, who's had a few big scalps under. He's someone that sort of made the jump from challengers up to the ATP level, and including that famous victory on clay against Carlos Alcaraz. But Shang, Jerry Shang, there you can see drawn against the wild card Coleman Wong. Shang last year needed a wild card, but now he's way up into the top 50. He doesn't need one this year. But there was a bit of interesting moments in the during the draw where I was present because Cedric Murray, by the way, who is the ATP supervisor for this tournament, he was there. Had a bit of a few technical issues. We're going to do it electronically, the draw, but decided to do it manually. So Cedric Murray, in very good fashion, I have to say, he must have done this a few times before. He did the draw manually, and he was doing the draw, but then he said, because Shang was there, Jerry Shang was present, so he says, why don't you draw, who you're going to play? And then he picks the number, and then Cedric says Coleman Wong, and everyone just, obviously this is in Hong Kong, Coleman Wong's from Hong Kong, everyone knows him, they just burst out laughing, because it's just like, yeah, what are the chances? And especially after, as Jerry pointed out there, Coleman Wong actually drew his own draw in Shanghai, and he picked Shang then in Shanghai, so it's just an incredible coincidence there.
Shang actually has just come out of Shang's just come out of the next gen. He had to withdraw, didn't he, from the next gen? I think from the second match, but he was back playing in Macau on Christmas Day in an exhibition with Kei Nishikori. So presumably he is okay. I did actually just read a report from that Macau match. Actually, Rublev, Casper Ruud, they were all in Macau as well on Christmas Day. The press release said that the Jerry Shang Kei Nishikori match was characterized by trick shots, comedic antics, and infectious laughter. So it sounds like hopefully there was no comedic antics, but it does sound like there was some laughter, infectious or not, at the draw.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had that press conference today with Jerry Shang, and he did actually talk about that in the press conference a bit. I mean, maybe we could have a little listen. Maybe that's quite a good time to switch that, because as you mentioned, you had to have an illness in pre-season, and then heading into Jeddah, where the next gen ATP finals was. He was still a bit sick then, and he said he was talking about how it affected his play. So let's see if we can get that up here, because I'll just get that shared actually.
Hey Jared, Lars M from South China Morning Post. You said that before the ATP finals you had a bout of illness that sort of ruined your preparation for the tournament. Would you be able to elaborate a little bit on that, whether it affected your tournament and how you're feeling now heading into the Hong Kong Open?
Yeah, I mean, for sure it was a little bit of affection on the the playing style, you know, everything. I was trying new rackets, a lot of different aspects that was considered, you know, like not so good. So I think it was not the best off season I've had, but obviously a lot of positives, you know, coming to Macau, having an exhibition there, and arriving in Hong Kong healthy now. So I think that's the most important. But definitely, I was very sick during preseason and during Jeddah as well.
And the way you climbed through the rankings in 2024, made it to 3 Grand Slams, won your first ATP Tour title. You must be looking at 2025 and the Hong Kong Open and thinking you can achieve great things. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone that's had a good off season would think that they would do good in the new year. But I think for me, it's very different because I'd like to take it step by step. You know, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but at the same time, I would like to have, you know, good results in the tournaments. So I think just play match by match, point by point. I think that's the most important thing, to be positive.
Hi Jerry, Eddie Lee, Tennis Asia Media. Just wanted to talk about how sort of last year you came into this tournament, got wild cards, you were even still only 18 then, and like just inside the top 200 maybe. You ended up doing very well in that tournament, got the semis. You've had a lot more experience now in the 18 tour. You've done well, won some slam matches, and you won your first ATP title in Chengdu, which was very good for you. How do you feel coming into the tournament this year compared to last year? How do you feel after
Yeah, I think each tournament is different, even though if you play the same one the year after or many tournaments I think are different. For me, coming to Hong Kong it's very exciting, you know, after doing so well last year making semis, but this year, you know, it doesn't guarantee me the semi spot or something better, so I gotta work for it and defend my points. Obviously that's some pressure, but I'd like to take it, you know, having fun on the court, you know, trying to achieve more things that I'd like to improve on the court, not just the results.
Okay, just one more. Yeah, it's not just been a big year for you, but like a lot of other Chinese players that have been, like Shang, Jinwen, she won the gold medal in the Olympics, and then of course the other guys, Bui and Chokete, has had a great year. Shang has got to, I think, the highest ranking for a Chinese player on the men's side, and we just had China get a good win in the United Cup as well. So just it's maybe like the most exciting time probably for Chinese tennis. So I just want to know how you feel about being part of this sort of group of players, and do you take inspiration for that? Or, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, you know, for us, I think for all of us, the tennis players, the kids, Lina was the inspiration for us to start playing tennis. You know, watching her play at the biggest stage in the world, winning Grand Slams, being so consistent in the top 10 was an inspiration for me. Now seeing Kim win and more players in the men's side as well doing so well, I think that's a good like upgrade or improvements that we've made in the past years. But I think men's tennis that we still have to do a lot more to be, you know, catching up to the women's side.
Dante Fatichi is your former coach, right?
Yes.
In January 2023, and he will take Zhong Qinwen to the Australian Open. Do you think he's the coach that can take her that one step further to actually win a Grand Slam?
Well, I think Dante is a great coach. You know, he's coached Kei for many years, and he's brought him to the top of this level. And I think Kei was number 4 in the world, making US Open finals. So obviously that shows what abilities Dante has. But I think for each player, they need different coaches. You know, maybe me and him wasn't the best fit, but we had a lot of good times. You know, I learned a lot of things from him. I'm not sure if Kim Won will do really good with him or really bad. You know, that's not for me to decide. I think they need to get to know each other. But here I wish them all the best and a good season ahead.
Thank you. Any more English?
All right, there you go.
Quite
Did you hear
the
that okay?
diplomat, isn't he? Yes, indeed. Quite the
Yes,
quite the
that's
diplomat,
exactly
yeah.
what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, he's well trained, isn't he? He's well trained. Unlike maybe some other players which aren't so well trained, he's very well trained. But yeah, he sort of didn't give too much away there. But I mean, I think he's yeah. I mean, he's obviously got his head screwed on, doesn't he? And yeah, I think interesting that he's saying that he still thinks we've got a lot more to do the men's side to catch up with the women. So he's expecting more from him. So I mean, I suppose that's good for him.
It's not an easy tie for either of them,
this
is
was,
it? I mean,
this was before the draw, by the way.
Right. And going on to that draw, this isn't an easy draw. Coleman Wong, obviously, we never quite know what we're going to get with Coleman, hence the whole Coleman coaster. But obviously, he's the wild card. It is in Hong Kong. We know that on his game, he's got a fighting chance against anyone. It certainly won't be easy for Jerry in the first round.
I mean, to be honest, perhaps it's not been the ideal preparation for Jerry, right? But at this point and at this time, you would have to say that based on recent form, I think you would expect him to win, right? Against Coleman. But Coleman, I mean, he's not shown the same trajectory, as him, obviously, and he's older than Jerry. But I mean, he's had a full year, sort of, because I think even last year, right? Talking about 2023, Coleman was mostly playing sort of what you call ITF level events, and then he had a good period where he beat Wu Yibing, who at the time was the top 100, right? And that was at the Asian Games, and then he won. He did well in the Challengers, and it sort of carried on a bit into this year. And then he sort of, I would say, sort of it's a bit up and down, and sort of dipped really towards. He couldn't sort of keep up the level, but I think that's normal. And yeah, sometimes it's not always a good idea to get sucked too much into the player's form, and then it can, because things can change quickly. We're in a new season, and I'm sure he's been working well. Coleman, he's still got the same coach from Rafa Nadal Academy. And yeah, he's got more experience now, and it's just, maybe at home he can sort of bring his best, and that will. I think the match that they played in Shanghai was I think it was a 6-4, 6-4 maybe for Jerry, so it was fairly close, but and perhaps that first set, maybe a bit of luck, it could have gone Coleman's way, but yeah, so it's definitely a great one for spectators, I think. So there'll be a lot of people there with intrigue, watching that, and I'm sure they know each other very well. And yeah, when that press conference was done, it was before their match, but we can listen to what Coleman said a little bit. Just a couple of questions if you want to listen. Sure. And he didn't give too much away, but just got a little bit of audio for you if you want to have a listen. So yeah, let's get that one up.
The work you put in during the off season can have a really good effect on the year going forward. How was your off season? Was there anything you specifically worked on and feel you've improved on? And then for this Hong Kong Open, is it trying to go as far as in this tournament, or are you looking to try and implement some things that could help you going forward to the Australian Open?
Obviously, this is going to be the first tournament of my 2025, and I'm really excited to start off the year in Hong Kong. And also, I put quite a lot of work in preseason as all the players, and I think I'm feeling better. I'm feeling I improved. There's a lot of players in the academy in Spain that I trained with, and many good guys, many good sessions. So I'm really excited.
Hi, Coleman. Eddie McGee from Tennis Asia Media. Just wanted to say, because we played a lot of matches, especially on the Challenger Tour, but you have also played some tournaments on the ATP Tour this year, qualified for Miami and got ATP wins. But even at the Challenger level, you played some top players like Dan Evans and etc. So there seems to be a great depth in men's tennis these days. So I'm just wondering, do you feel like what's the difference level between the Challenger and the ATP Tour level, and what do you think you need to do to sort of get to that next level and get up to that sort of ATP level?
I think it's actually pretty close, because in challengers you'll see people like Dan Evans, that you said, Adam Walton, he's top 100, many top 100 guys playing in the challenger and mixing the ATP tour as well. So I think it's it's very similar in terms of level. I think it's just a little better mentally, and then more stable. Not much of a difference, but obviously ATP is ATP. But I think it's not much of a difference that we thought it is. So yeah, I played many challenger tournaments and also tour events. I think tour events, obviously everything it's great, and play a lot of good guys like top 40, top 50 players more basically every round. So yeah, it's tougher.
Yeah, so not given. I mean, obviously, he was talking there initially about doing some training out in he's still training out there in Spain. So obviously, a good place to train. And then later, it's just saying that, I mean, he's had a sort of tough time. He's done pretty well in some challenger tournaments, but it's he's talking about the level as being not that much different from, certainly probably like the lower parts of the ATP Tour, right? Then, I mean, the thing that he mentioned was the difference in what he said was, his words were, stability and, the mental side, which I think is probably true. And I think that comes across in, to be honest, when I've watched Coleman, some of his matches, it did feel like, the mental thing was maybe affecting him. But I think that could happen when you've had sort of tight matches or losses that that you've had a few of them, and that happens to like a lot of tennis players. And so maybe that's something that he needs to get over to step up, but to the next level, and be interesting to see if he can do that here in this tournament. Sort of. I think that mental side is definitely something that perhaps can be improved, and just sort of playing those big points. And a lot of time it just comes down to a few points here and there. We're talking about that last match against Jerry Shang. It was quite close, wasn't it? And it's just it's a few points here and there that you've got to try and play better.
I think last time we saw him in Seoul as well, losing that match. I think it was against Kasidit Samaraj. I think it was
Samraj.
It was a match he really should have won, and had every opportunity to do so. But it's just those key moments, and difference the big ATP tournaments to challengers on the outer court in front of nobody in Seoul. Here he's obviously going to be centre court in Hong Kong. Another game that I'm sure is going to be centre court in Hong Kong, and one we do need to talk about. Talk about the very sort of definition of dangerous floaters in the draw. We had one very dangerous unseeded player going to face a very dangerous wild card. We've got Shapovalov against Kei Nishikori. You're going to be watching that one, I'm sure.
Denis Shapovalov and yes, absolutely, against Kei Nishikori. Blockbuster, especially for an ATP 250 first round match. I mean, if that was in Islam, I think people would be getting excited as a first round match. But Shapovalov, interesting though, because he's someone that was top 10 and then he fell away a bit. In different circumstances for Kei, but the same in, because Kei's had just a series of injuries, but Kei is also someone on the comeback, sort of, and he is on the comeback. And like, I would say for Kei though, this is going to be a big test for him, but it's one that he can certainly navigate. I think if I was Shapovalov, I'd be a bit worried, right? I suppose they've played each other twice and they've won one match each, but that was back in 2018. So a lot has changed since then. But I mean, if we talk about Kay, and I'll hopefully be asking him some questions tomorrow morning in the press conference. But yeah, he has had a pretty positive second half of 2020-24. Like he had a bit of a sort of a stop-start at the beginning, but then he managed to, like, he got to the quarterfinals at the Masters event, right? And he beat Stefanos Tsitsipas to do that on the way to that quarterfinal. And then he finished off with a challenger title. It was a 1-2-5, which was a pretty tough challenger title. And I think the pleasing thing is that he's able to get through those 5 matches and apparently be unscathed and fit enough to be able to come into this season. And he's already posted that he's got quite a full schedule planned, which obviously, you know, bodes well for him. So, I mean, fingers crossed that he can actually stay fit and healthy. And then he's even down to play a world group match with Davis Cup with Japan against Great Britain in Japan at the end of January, beginning of Feb. So yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I think he's done that, like in the world group. I mean, and there's a big full contingent as well. They've got Nishikori. I mean, we'll probably talk about that later. I think Nishikori, Nishioka, Taro Daniel, Yosuke Watanuki, and another, I forget the doubles player, but, you know, there's a full team there, and that's a pretty good team. And I think Great Britain's going to be worried because they're not going to have Jack Draper. He's already pulled out. But we're having Fernley and maybe Norrie there. Talking about Norrie, he's in the draw here, and he's going to be playing against
Tien.
Yes, Tien is a lot of big expectations for him. I mean, he's not the biggest guy. He's like 5'11" or 5'10".
I'll have you. 5'10" is plenty good for any man. I will say.
But against Cam Norrie, who has he didn't have the best year, right, this year, and but he's a guy that he's a grinder, and he'll work really hard. I always remember Norrie made me laugh. He said that the doctor told him he's got extremely large lungs, so he tries to use that to his advantage. He can certainly grind out long matches. But Lerner Tien is another guy. Yeah, he's not the biggest, so he's someone that, you know, he is a smart player, and he likes to outmaneuver people in the rallies. And it's going to be interesting, obviously, coming from the next gen finals as the runner up, and see if he can carry on that form. And then we've got who else catches my eye in that draw? I mean, we've got, looking down to Arthur Fils,
I suppose.
Yep, of course, right. Yeah, Bu Yun Chalkete, who, had a tremendous latter half of this year, but actually, well, really since May, because he started just winning a whole load of challenger matches and then came to the Asian swing, the China swing, and actually just tremendous results, including wins over Musetti and Rublev, who is in this tournament. Bu will play Nuno Borges, which I suppose out of the seeds isn't too bad, but it's going to be it won't be easy, that one. So yeah, a good test for him. I think he'll have good support here, and then potentially he'll play either Jaume Munar or Davidovich Fokina. So yeah, difficult matches, but I suppose they're ones that sort of, if he wants to step to the next level, that the matches that he should be looking to win, right? And I think that he's shown that he's got that in his locker. I mean, and he did even reach an ATP 250 quarterfinal after that run in Beijing. So yeah, and then potentially, if he does get through, another match against Lorenzo Musetti awaits. Musetti must be having nightmares about Chinese players, because obviously he got beat by Bu there, and then he lost to Jerry Shang in that final. Interesting little draw. And another interesting thing is the doubles draw, which I'm going to switch over to if you don't mind, and so we're gonna so we can talk about that, which has a few surprises in terms of we've actually got Rublev participating in the doubles draw alongside Karen Khachanov, and is that showing up?
Wouldn't you just? It's just one of those ones. I know they've come up against quite an interesting pairing, but it's one of those pairings that it's like if you're the specialist doubles ones going around the world grinding out your living in doubles, you're absolutely furious when you're facing a pair like that in the first round.
Yeah, so it is interesting but on the other hand, I mean, for Rublev and Khachanov, they'll just be going out there. I mean, I think they'll be taking it seriously, no doubt, because it's all about sort of getting that sharpness. I think I did actually sit in the Rublev press conference, although I haven't got the recording up here for you. But he did mention, it's for him. It's like he likes at the start of the year to sort of get that sharpness back, and it just helps him get back feeling good quicker, which I can definitely understand. And I think, for him as well, like, the sort of the skills that come in doubles are sort of aspects that he doesn't always use naturally in his game. It probably help him out a bit. But I mean, as you said, like playing against Namji Sung, who we've talked about on the podcast a lot, obviously, because he was in our first podcast, which was after the Busan Open, which I was at. And Namji Sung, alongside Reo Ho, won the doubles title there, Challenger 125 title. And I knew that Nam and Wong were friendly. I didn't expect them to actually play doubles. Pretty nice for Nam to be able to play the ATP tournament. I mean, he's actually played the Australian Open twice, and they won the first round match there twice. That was with Song Min Kyu. So I think Nam's maybe perhaps a little bit underrated in the double circuit, let's say. But playing against Coleman, who I think, he had a lot of success at juniors and the junior slams, right? I think he won like junior slams in the doubles as a junior. So interesting. I think it'll be fun for the spectators anyway, won't it? So you got your local player, and then two clear standouts in terms of the players, big names there. So pretty fun. And then Jerry Shang's also playing alongside Shapovalov. And they are drawn against Mansouri and Vilayegin, the third seeds. Yeah, so quite a few players.
You've got Lorenzo squared as well, Mazzetti and Sonego pairing out, which means you've got all top four single seeds playing in the doubles as well. So pretty stacked lineup because Arthur Fields is also playing as well. So a very very stacked doubles lineup.
Yeah, and two Lorenzos, Mazzetti and Sonego.
Yes, I'm gonna ask you. Obviously, I know we're not very good at doing these, but I'm going to ask you I'm not going to ask you for your predictions for the doubles, but predictions. Who's going to go deep in the singles in Hong Kong this week?
That's a good question. You know what? And I'm maybe as a tennis Asia, aficionado, I might be slightly biased here, but I'm kind of hopeful for a little Nishikori run.
Okay.
And that is someone I'm looking for a little surprise run. Was he going to win the tournament? I suppose that's not. If I'm going to be realistic, who I think could win the tournament is Arthur Fils. He's on the bottom side of the draw, and I don't think it's the strongest side. I think for him to be a fourth seed and have, he's got Lorenzo Musetti in that side, but I think that's not too bad. So that's the only player that I would see seriously troubling him. Arthur Fils, although having said that, he might have a second round match against Zizou Bergs, who gets a wild card, which is nice for him to get a wild card here in Hong Kong. But Bergs has quite a, he's an exciting player, dynamic player. He's had quite a lot of good matches but I think he should be too strong for him. And then when I see that, the draw, I think he's got a great chance actually to go to the final and win it. But I would love to see Kei as well come through there. I think that's a much tougher top half. You've got Rublev, you've got Jerry Shang, you've obviously got Kishanov. I mean, Denis Shapovalov and Nishikori, of course. I mean, it could maybe go either way, right? So I could, I would just get that prediction totally wrong, and Shapo wins the straight sets of that first round match. But yeah, I don't know. I think I was pretty positive about where Kei was, and Brandon Nakashima is there as well. I mean, he's been pretty good this year as well. So difficult top half, I would say, and it's a bit more unpredictable about who comes out in that one. You could have Jerry Shang meeting Rublev again, but this time at an earlier stage. So, yeah, that would just be in the quarterfinals, wouldn't it? So
quarterfinals, that would be.
Yeah. Last year they met in the semis, and that was a 3-set win for Rublev. So, yeah, I think it's reasonable to expect the sort of Asian players maybe to do a little bit better when they're playing in this sort of side of the world. So let's see if it happens.
Plenty to get stuck into this week. There's plenty of tennis going on around the world as well. We won't dwell on that this time, though. Eddie, so what's on the agenda for you tomorrow? Qualifiers, or are you ducking out for the absolutely fascinating 11 race card at Shatin tomorrow afternoon?
Probably not going to the racing. I'll definitely be in the morning. You've got the press conference with Kei Nishikori, and then probably will check out a little bit of the qualies. They've got Jie, what's his name? Jie Shui, the Chinese player who we talked about is a bit of a surprise run in the challengers. He's got a wild card in the qualies, so look and see how he does. And there's a few other players, Yevsev from Kazakhstan in there. Sort of fairly open the qualifying draw. So we don't know who's going to get through. I mean, we talked about the singles draw, but I mean the potential opponents for the qualifiers: Carbias, Baena, Zizou Bergs, Alexandra Muller. So a qualifier. There's only one qualifier drawn against a seed, which is Pedro Martinez. So it certainly could have got much tougher for the qualifier. So they'll be fairly pleased about their chances if they get through. So I'll mix it.
Could be a complete unexpected run. Eddie, thank you very much for joining me. I'm not going to detain you any longer because I'm sure it's Saturday night. You're in Causeway Bay. I'm sure you've got an appointment to go and do some studying at the library or something like or something like that. So enjoy the tournament. I'm sure we'll check in along the way. And let's look out for maybe a crafty Nishikori run at Victoria Park.
Cheers.
26, 26.